For hands-on one, what we need to do is create a chapter 5 folder. And then inside that folder, we are going to create a file called conditional tests. Make sure you put that in your chapter 5 folder. And we're going to complete Try It Yourself 5.1 and Try It Yourself 5.2. And I have examples of the output that you need. So 5.1 says write a series of conditional tests, print a statement describing each test and your prediction for the results of the test. And this is what they want your code to look like. So how I approached this, because you need 10 tests, 5 of them have to be true and 5 of them have to be false. So I set up some variables at the top. So I just set a color, and you guys can do whatever you want for this. I mean, it does not matter as long as you perform the test correctly. And then I did a couple numbers. And then I did a list. Eggies. Bacon. Okay. So you've got to give yourself something to work with, or something to test. So I created these variables so I would have something to test. Then put in a little heading for true results. And then I copy that heading. And do false results here. Okay, so now I'm going to do 5 tests in the true section that test true. Then I'm going to do 5 tests in the false section that test false. So I'm going to kind of display the equation. So I'm going to say print number 1 less than number 2. Oops, number 1, comma. We got to do a string for the less than sign and then number 2. So I want the actual numbers to print out, and in between, I want the symbol. Okay, so this is how I have to enter it. And then it's either going to say true or false, right? So is number 1 less than number 2? This should test true. So I'm going to then just put in my equation. You don't need to put that you think it's going to be true if you put the heading true results. Okay, so everything in this section you think it's going to test true. And so that's my first one. Now for false, I can do the opposite, right? What would be false is if I switch this and I said number 1 was greater than number 2. That is going to give me a false result. Okay, so if I run this, Okay, so I've got true and false. So I've got one of each. I need 4 more. So um, another one that I can do that won't take too much work is less than or equal, right? And we'll put the equal operator there. That's also going to be true. So if I come down here, copy this, we do greater than or equal, that's also going to be false. Okay, so moving right along, I only need 3 more. So you guys can kind of see the method to the madness here. And you need to have 5 different equations that test true, 5 different equations that test false. Okay, so that is 5-1. 5-2, it says you can do more than 10 tests, but there are some specific tests they want you to include. They want you to test for equality and inequality. Okay, so if I'm going to test for equality, I'm probably going to use the color. Okay, and let's see, I could do, okay, now pretend I have 3 more tests up here. I could do print. Now, what happens if you already did this one, right? As part of your 5 ones that test true? Well, that's awesome because then you already met this requirement and you don't need to do it again. So I'm checking to see if the color is equal to, actually equals orange, right? And then I'm going to actually key in the equation. Okay, that should test true. Yep. So then to do not equals, remember these are case sensitive, right? So pretending I have 3 more that test false, put this down here. So I'm going to say not equals. Actually, color doesn't equal orange. You're right, it doesn't equal orange. That would test true. So for this one, I can basically copy it and just put not equals. Okay, because that's going to be false, right? Because it is equal. So if I look here, orange doesn't equal orange is false because they are equal. So I did the equality thing, test using the lower method. So again, any of the text ones you can use lower on. Test using the and keyword and the or keyword. So you're going to have to do 2 additional tests using those. So there is a variety of ways you can do this, and it does not say that you have to use lower in both the true and false section. And it does not say that you have to use the and the or keyword in both sections. Okay, so for these items where they're not telling you to do it both ways, you only have to incorporate it one way. Okay, so a test using the lower method, I can do that up here or down here. I don't have to do it in both. So if I want to check it, I'll just do that one quick. Let's do, so what I want to check for, if I'm going to convert it to lower, what I'm checking for is orange equal orange, right? And the only way for that to be true is if I do color dot lower equals orange, because it has an uppercase letter in it. So let's run that. Orange equal orange is true. So I've met that lower requirement. Numerical test involving equality and inequality, greater than and less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. Well, I think I've already met that, right? I've got less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. I didn't do the equality thing, but you have extra, you probably already did that in one of the 5. If you didn't do equality for numbers, you are going to want to add that one in there. Tests using the and the or keywords. For that one, you only need to pick one or the other. And you can do whatever kind of test you want. If you want to add more colors, it does not matter as long as you are using those keywords. See if an item is in a list and see if an item is not in a list. And there's plenty of examples of that. And again, you can do it in the true or the false section. Okay, so that is the conditional test exercise. Then we're going to move on to try it yourself 5-7. You scroll down. Favorite fruit. Make a list of your favorite fruits and then write a series of independent if statements that check for certain fruits in your list. When they say independent if statements, these are not elif statements. Okay, so let's see, we're going to call it favorite fruits. Oh, I don't know how that got in the download, but let's put this in the right spot. Oh, let's get rid of that. Let's try this again. Okay. That's what I need. All right. So we're going to do a little list of fruit. Bananas. Okay. And then you're going to have some kind of a for loop. And then it's helpful if you print out what fruit you're processing. And then this is where you're going to start that series of if statements, where you're going to say if the fruit is equal to, strawberries. And then you're going to print out something about strawberries. They are red, whatever it is you want to print. And then you're going to do another separate if statement. That is basically what it is asking you to do, is to do separate if statements and checking, for different items and printing out separate messages. Okay. And that's really all you need to do here. Okay. So says you have to have 5 if statements. Okay. So you have your list of at least 3. You're going to have 5 if statements, checking and printing things out.